Yes, Serge Kumensky. I'm quite well. Yourself? The trip was smooth. It was interesting to see the country. Okay. I'm finishing my master's degree in human resource management. I'll be completing my degree in May. My focus is in the area of training. I'm really interested in that area, and I think that I have a really firm grasp of the subject matter. My summer internship with Union Electric provided me with exposure to training, creating the ability for me to learn in a work setting. My bachelor's degree is in management. I chose that field because I like to solve problems, and the management degree exposed me to many different aspects of business. I believe I really understand how to solve problems in organizations, and I think I could do that effectively in your company. Some other background about me. In my free time, I enjoy bicycling, playing racquetball, and attending theater performances. Yes, I mentioned that my interest is in the area of training. Generally, I chose to study human resource management because I find solving problems an interesting challenge. I believe that human resource management is the area that will determine the success of a company and ultimately the satisfaction of workers in the organization. Also, there are so many areas within human resources, such as training and development, compensation and benefits, and staffing and selection, that an individual can begin as a generalist, then specialize in a specific area. So there's lots of interesting options. Yes, my internships gave me exposure to work in both compensation and training. Though I'm also fine beginning as generalist and developing my skills further that way. Then, after I see what opportunities exist in the organization, moving to an area of specialty from there. I served as generalist, performing many routine activities related to human resource management. Specifically, I updated position descriptions, worked on the annual review process, and worked on benefits administration. Yes, absolutely. I gained an understanding of how HRM functions influence the customer experience, and I was exposed to the realities that human resource professionals must face on a day-to-day basis, something I hadn't really realized up to that point. I feel that this experience was very beneficial in that it helped develop my base of knowledge in human resource management. Well, I worked with two human resource managers designing a training program for entry-level machine operators. Typically, new operators would receive a verbal description from the supervisor, and then the new operator was placed on a designated slow line to practice. This cost electric money and time in loss of productivity. Prior to my start date, some new equipment had been purchased. While we were discussing ways to improve productivity, it was suggested that older machinery could be used to train new operators, allowing the operating lines to operate at full speed. I felt this would result in savings in waste and downtime, as well as providing more effective training. We thought that we had come up with a very good idea. We worked hard at it, and after meeting several times with various supervisors and operators, the training program was implemented. The results were positive, saving Electric a considerable amount of money. Knowing that we were responsible for the success of the training program, I felt really good about the impact my efforts had on the project's success. This experience was extremely valuable in that it provided me with the opportunity to supplement my classroom knowledge with the realities that human resource professionals are faced with on a day-to-day basis. I also felt that this internship allowed me to utilize my skills and abilities at a level where they should be used. Yes, when I was in high school, several of my classmates and I worked at the same restaurant. I was continually assigned the later shifts, as well as every Saturday night. It didn't bother me at first, but then I thought it was getting a little unfair. I talked about it a little with my friends, who were sympathetic, but they couldn't do anything about it. Finally, I approached my boss about it and indicated to him that I thought that the way the scheduling was being handled was unfair. We talked about it, looked at past schedules, and then we were able to configure a rotation schedule. And this would continue until each worker had worked each schedule. My boss and I had come up with a really good solution to the problem, and he changed their schedules to reflect this idea. Since this change, my boss has used the idea with no problems occurring. This experience demonstrated to me that problems can arise, but that they can also be worked out in a way that can accommodate everyone involved. I reflect on this as one of my most educational experiences. Well, for my planning and staffing class, I really wanted to get an A. 40% of our grade was determined by a group project, which meant that to have a realistic chance of getting an A, I needed to do at least as well on the project as I would on the final. Before groups were assigned, I started thinking of ideas. After considering some ideas and researching a few, I thought a challenging project would be to develop a human resource plan for a factory that was downsizing by 5% over a one-year period. I thought this would be a good project, not only because it integrated both aspects of the course, but it was also relevant to current business activities and concerns. Once groups were assigned, I presented the idea and its value, and everyone agreed to pursue it. We developed a plan of action to accomplish the project, and divided the workload among the group, and established a schedule for completion that will provide us with a week to review and make any changes. When the projects were returned, we had the highest grade in the course. I felt really good about that, knowing that my idea and efforts were largely responsible for the project's success. And with the success of the project, I was well on my way to getting an A. I studied for the final and earned an A in the course. The most beneficial aspect of this course was the exposure to working with others to achieve a common goal, and seeing the time and energy that is required for success on such projects. This is very important and isn't really covered very often in the classroom. Thank you very much.